Even leftists are admitting that the Democrat convention is a complete and total disaster. All the while, President Trump's support has begun to skyrocket. In this video, we're going to take a look at what leftists are saying, or better, how liberals are savaging the Democrat snooze fest all across social media. And we're going to see how this cringe fest of a convention is getting rocked by the surge in Trump's latest poll numbers. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. A huge welcome to all of our first-time viewers. We post 2 videos a day, analyzing current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular visitor to this channel where each and every single day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. So let's begin with our video chat question of the day. Who was the worst speaker in last night's convention? let us know what you think in the comments section below. If you were able to check it out, who did you most dislike among the roster of speakers? And tell us why in the comments section below. Because, you know, we're going to find that even leftists think things were so bad last night that it might actually be difficult to identify the worst speaker in the midst of the worst convention ever. Now, before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this awesome motion detector ultra bright solar nightlight. Now, you can install it anywhere because it's wireless, and you never need to worry about buying batteries because it's solar powered with a high powered battery storage pack. It's equipped with motion detectors, and it becomes an entertainment light for the patio and the barbecue, really with just a click of a button. And those motion detectors offer effective deterrence against burglars. And best of all, you don't have to spend a fortune for any of it. If you click on the link below right now, you'll get 52% off as well as free shipping. So what could be better? Do not wait. Click on that link below or visit nightsolarlight.com and bring its light to the dark spaces in your home today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. The reviews are in, as it were, with regard to the virtual Democrat National Convention, and they appear to be rather unanimous. It's a certifiable disaster. It's a dud. To say that it's a disappointment would be an understatement, and all you have to do is really look at how leftists themselves are assessing their own convention. Here's just a sample of what some of the more Democrat faithful are saying about it. Philip Lewis, who's an editor over at the far left Huffington Post, tweeted out, "The DNC so far feels like one long ad on YouTube you'd usually skip." I mean, it's one long YouTube ad, and man, are they long. I know, I've recorded a few. It's like one long YouTube ad that you can't wait to skip. Charles Blow of the New York Times tweeted out, "This is a good effort by the DNC, but you can already tell that a virtual convention is going to be tough." That's probably the most sanitized way of saying, man, this convention sucks. you can already tell that a virtual convention, it's going to be tough. Yeah, in other words, it sucks. Or how about this from the leftist TV and radio commentator David Pakman? "Someone please talk me off the ledge." Oh my. Someone talk me off the ledge. I'm going to jump. Goodbye, crew world. I'm out of here. Oh, it's too good. Someone please talk me off the ledge. I want to win in the first 22 minutes of this DNC. I'm scared. Can someone tell me how great this is or something? Sorry, bud. You can't fix stupid. Or take this one from former Democrat presidential candidate Marianne Williamson. I love this one. "I wanted to like it. I really did. I promise I did." I mean, man, you can't make this stuff up. Now, truth be told, it was a disaster and will continue to be so throughout the week, most likely. As one pundit pointed out, the convention has all the glamour and excitement of a Zoom conference. Make no mistake, it was and will continue to be a disaster. And that is, of course, as the cities throughout our nation prove, that's because the Democrats are the disaster. This is why President Trump told the far-left Minnesota governor to shove it when he asked for $15 million in federal aid to help rebuild the city of Minneapolis that he and his Democratic ilk actually allowed to burn and implode. Trump was like, you want disaster relief? Well, then you need to resign. You and every Democrat in Minnesota and Minneapolis need to resign. And then you will have real disaster relief because you, the Democrats, are the disaster. And they are. And they prove it again and again and again. Did you see what happened with Cuomo, Governor Cuomo in New York? As he was giving his speech that attempted to blame President Trump for all the coronavirus deaths in our nation, the AP, the Associated Press, they actually published adjusted numbers estimating the amount of elderly who died in New York nursing homes after Cuomo directly ordered them confined to such homes. And that adjustment resulted in a near 100% increase in the estimated deaths. The numbers went from 6,000 to 11,000 New Yorkers who died in nursing homes because of Cuomo's directive. New York has one of the worst coronavirus numbers in the world. The mortality rate there was significantly higher than any other country in the world. And the Democrats had the gall to put Cuomo up as the one who would try to blame Trump for all the coronavirus deaths. But again, these are liars, right? These are left-wing liars. They don't believe in truth. Truth is something for them that you create, you fabricate in accordance with your own liberal partisan allegiances and goals. And Cuomo just provided another explicit case study for such. And I think vast majority of voters see through this. People do not like to be lied to. And so I think this only contributed to the convention's failure. So Cuomo turned out to be a disaster. The MC for the convention, this Ava Basin, who starred in the silly TV show Desperate Housewives. She was a dud. I don't know whose idea it was to make her the host for this snooze fest. It was just one fail after another. But for me, the one who took the cake was the Rhino, the Republican in name only, or the Diablo, the Democrat in all but label, Johnkasich, who, at least for me, was perhaps the single most cringeworthy part of the entire Democrat debacle. Because if you think it through, we all expect leftists to embarrass themselves, since leftism is itself an embarrassment. SJWs, woke warriors, they're the epitome of embarrassment. But then you have Kasich, who, if you remember, really, he was one of the major forces, together with Newt Gingrich in the House of Representatives, to take back control of Congress for the Republicans for the first time in 40 years. Now, this was way back in 1994. He was a good guy back then. Now, what the hell differentiates him from Kamala Harris? Seriously? It's standing there giving his full endorsement to Sleepy Joe, who he actually claimed could unify the nation. Think about that. How in any semblance of reality is Sleepy Joe and Kamala Harris going to unite our nation? They can't even unite their own party. The Democratic Party is currently going through a civil war on at least two fronts. The Biden versus the Bernie Bros front. The Bernie Bros are threatening to bail out and sit out of the 2020 election. And then on the other front, you've got the ethnocentric tribalism of Black Lives Matter that sees what they call liberal white supremacists like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton as every bit their political enemy is Trump. Biden can't even unite his own party. How the hell is he going to unite the nation? So Kasich is so full of it. He's so full of himself, just like Mitt Romney, that he actually believes, or at least it appears that he actually believes, that when he opens his mouth, there are a substantial number of voters who actually take him seriously. Again, it's really just beyond narcissistic. And he's so blind. Kasich is so blind by his jealous hatred of Trump and his own conceit and narcissism that he doesn't realize that he is actually helping Trump. And I think this is very important for us to understand. It's the exact same thing with Romney. Whenever Romney opens his mouth, they're only helping Trump. What rhinos don't seem to get is that every single shred of data that we have from the 2016 election indicates that Trump's base, the voters who successfully voted in Donald Trump, they were overwhelmingly distrustful of the GOP, the Republicans, and the Republican establishment. Right? That's so essential for us to get here, particularly in 2020. The vote for Trump was a vote against the Republican establishment. The rank and file voters are overwhelmingly distrustful of the GOP in particular, and in the political establishment in general. The Great Revolt Survey, which examined the trends in the 2016 election, found that 90% of Trump voters agreed that the Republicans and Democrats in Washington were both equally guilty of leading the country down the wrong path, which was a stunning repudiation of the Republican Party. When asked to rank who you trust most among 5 institutions that were given in the survey, well, Trump, one person, the Republicans, the Democrats, the national media, and big business, 60% of Trump voters put Trump on the top. But by contrast, only 25% gave the Republican Party the top slot. That was followed by 6% for big business, 4% for Democrats. All 4%, of course, defected away from the Democrats and voted for Trump. And then last and most certainly least, of course, the mainstream Marxist media. They only got 2% in terms of those who put them as most trustworthy. So you see, this is why running a conventional candidate for the Republican presidential nominee would have been and would continue to be an absolute and total political disaster. We have to remember that Trump won the nomination because voters despise the Republican establishment, represented by the 15 other candidates, including Johnkasich. And Trump won the presidential election because voters despise the political establishment. Rhinos like Kasich simply don't see that. And he's still blind to it, thinking that an establishment candidate like Joe Biden could actually unify the nation. How absurd. So his endorsement of Biden is actually just helping Trump. It's reminding voters precisely what they voted for, which was a disruptor of this crooked establishment made up of vile and pathological narcissists like Kasich. And then that leads us to the skyrocketing polls that Trump is getting as we speak. Man, oh man. Now, we talked about this in the CNN poll yesterday, which finds Biden's lead of 14 points back in June imploding. Joe Biden's lost 10 points in a matter of just weeks. And the important point here, and Six Hexenhammer was talking about this earlier today, is that you have the same methodology used in both polls. So you have the same sampling and methodology showing that Trump has surged 10 points in a matter of a single month. Now, that's gigantic. It's an indicator that there is real movement towards Trump going on in our nation. And again, the CNN poll is not an outlier. Rasmussen recently had Trump polling at 50% approval, which was 3 points higher than where Obama was polling at the exact same time in his presidency. In fact, Trump has been consistently outpolling Obama over the last several weeks. So today, for example, Rasmussen has Trump at 48% approval. And when it comes to the battleground states, right, the so-called swing states, Biden's lead has evaporated to just 1 point, 49 to 48%. So we're clearly seeing a massive surge for Trump. And of course, this is all happening as the Democrat convention is just getting trashed all over social media, even by leftists. So we'll see how things continue throughout the week. But thus far, as Trump skyrockets in support, the Democrat convention is nothing but a dud. Nothing more than a tired and banal endorsement of their candidate, Sleepy Joe. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on Antifa and BLM agitators getting absolutely crushed in America's new civil war. You're not going to want to miss that one. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.